Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on Literals Law YouTube channel. So, in one of our previous videos, under the comments section, I have got a question asking for some questions on what is volume testing and how should I approach volume testing if I'm not wrong. So, that's the question. So, I just want to bring a quick understanding of what is load testing and what is the volume testing and what are the differences of it and what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of the volume testing. So first let's see what is volume testing. So the purpose of load testing. So the purpose of load testing is performed to evaluate how a system or application behaves under a specified expected load or stress conditions, and it helps determine the system's capacity limits and potential bottlenecks. Say for example, if you are testing an e-commerce website which they are actually preparing for a big sale event like Black Friday, and load testing would simulate a large number of concurrent users trying to access the website, make purchases, and perform various activities to ensure the system can handle the expected traffic without crashing or slowing down significantly. On the other hand, the volume testing, so the purpose of volume testing is completely different when compared to the load testing. So volume testing, on the other hand, focuses on testing the system's ability to handle a large amount of data. So it checks how the system performs when dealing with high volume or huge volume of data such as records in a database. So for example, consider a customer relationship management a CRM system for a multinational corporation. So volume testing would involve adding a vast number of records, for example, the customer profiles, the interactions, the transactions, to assess if the system maintains its performance and responsiveness. So overall, in summary, load testing is about testing under expected user loads or stress conditions, while volume testing is about testing with a large volume of data. So both are critical aspects of ensuring the reliability and performance of software systems. So next we will see about what are the differences between load test and volume test. So the first point when talking about the differences between load test and volume test is the load test focuses on simulating the expected load and behavior of concurrent users accessing the system or application. On the other hand, the volume testing focuses on testing the system's ability to manage and process a large volume of data. Just underline, it manages or it tests the system ability to manage and process a large volume of data. And then when coming to the second point, which is second focus, which is the testing scenario. So load testing involves creating scenarios that mimic real world usage patterns, such as a sudden surge in user activity during a specific event or peak business hours. On the other hand, the volume testing involves testing with a vast amount of data to assess how the system handles data storage, retrieval, and processing. So when it comes to the metrics evaluation, so the evaluation of metrics, load testing measures metrics like response times, transaction rates, error rates, and resource utilization, for example, the CPU, the memory, etc., under high load conditions. On the other hand, the volume testing focuses on data related metrics such as database performance, storage capacity, and data retrieval times as the volume of data increases. And then when it comes to the tools, so the typical tools for load testing are JMeter, LoadRunner, Gatling, Neoload, and these are some of the commonly used for simulating user behavior and load scenarios. On the other hand, for volume testing, database management tools like MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Oracle can be used for volume testing to assess the database performance. So some of the common scenarios for load testing are used for websites, for e-commerce platforms, and applications where sudden spikes in user activity are expected, whereas the volume testing applies in scenarios which involves large scale data processing such as data warehousing, financial systems, and healthcare systems dealing with extensive patient records. So finally, the goals of load testing is to identify the performance bottleneck, their server capacity limits, and ensure the system can handle the expected user load without degradation. On the other hand, the volume testing's goal is to assess how the system handle an increase in data volume, ensuring it can maintain performance and stability over time. So now let's move on to the next point, which is why is load testing often prioritized over volume testing? So the first point is the user experience impact. So load testing directly addresses the user experience by simulating real world usage scenarios, and this ensures the system can handle expected user loads, which helps preventing slow response times or crashes during peak periods. So when it comes to the business impact, load testing is critical for applications where user satisfaction directly impacts revenue. For example, an e-commerce site during a sale event or a ticket booking platform for a popular event. And then when it comes to the immediate relevance, load testing is typically more immediately relevant because it directly aligns with user interactions and business operations. It helps ensure the system's responsiveness during critical moments. And then when it comes to preventing of service disruptions, load testing helps identify and mitigate potential performance bottlenecks or failures under high load, preventing service disruptions that can lead to customer dissatisfaction or lost sales. And then when it comes to prioritizing critical functions, in many cases it's more crucial to ensure that core functions like user authentication, payment processing can handle a large volume of users rather than focusing solely on data storage capacity. And then when it comes to the resource utilization, load testing also indirectly evaluates the system resource utilization under high load, which includes CPU, memory, network resources, which are critical for maintaining optimal performance. And when it comes to dynamic user behavior, load testing accounts for dynamic user behavior such as sudden surges in traffic, multiple concurrent user sessions, and varying transaction types. And these factors can significantly impact the performance. So when it comes to the advantages of volume testing, so what are the advantages of volume testing and why should we do it? So the data handling assurance. So volume testing ensures that the system can effectively manage and process a large amount of data, which is crucial for applications that deal with extensive database or data sets. And when it comes to scalability evaluation, it helps assess the scalability of the system with respect to data volume. And this is important for systems that are expected to grow and handle increasing amounts of data over time. So when it comes to the resource allocation optimization, volume testing allows for the identification of resource allocation issues related to data storage, retrieval, and processing. So this helps in optimizing resource allocation for optimal performance. And when it comes to database performance tuning, it provides insights into database performance and helps in tuning database configurations for better responsiveness and efficiency. And when it comes to capacity planning with volume testing, they assist in capacity planning by determining the maximum data volume the system can handle without performance degradation, and this helps in making informed decisions about infrastructure and resource requirements. And when it comes to compliance and regulatory requirements, many industries such as healthcare and finance have strict regulatory requirements regarding data handling and storage. So volume testing ensures compliance with these compliances and regulatory requirements. And when it comes to data integrity and reliability, so by subjecting the system to high data volumes, volume testing helps identify potential issues related to data integrity, ensuring that data remains accurate and reliable even under heavy loads. So when it comes to stress testing in data intensive environments, in scenarios where the system's performance is largely determined by its ability to manage data, for example, the big data processing or the data warehousing, volume testing serves as a form of stress testing specific to data intensive environments. And when it comes to preventing data loss or corruption, these volume testing identifies potential point of failures or vulnerabilities in data handling process, which helps to prevent data loss or corruption during periods of high data volume. And finally, when it comes to application suitability for big data, For applications that are part of the big data ecosystem, volume testing is crucial in assessing their readiness and suitability for handling massive datasets and complex processing tasks. So, in fact, I even had been asked a question that can I run one with one user with one thread? Will that be a volume testing? So far we saw about the advantages and the overall idea of what is volume testing. So in any of the point we have always talked about big data or huge volume, so running with just one user will never be a volume testing. So always use a huge number of data or huge amount of volume to test with or for the volume testing. And finally, the disadvantages of volume testing. So they are resource intensive, they are time consuming, and creating and managing a large volume of test data can be challenging, especially for complex data structure or relationships. And this may require specialized tools or scripts. So it's very complex to do the test data setup. And then when it comes to the data privacy and security concerns, so using actual data for volume testing can raise privacy and security concerns, especially in industries with strict data protection regulations. So ensuring data anonymization or using synthetic data may be necessary, and there is a limited realism. So in some cases, synthetic or generated data may not accurately reflect the complexities and nuances of real world data, which potentially leads to results that do not fully represent actual system behavior. And it has difficulty in replicating the real world scenarios because simulating a real world scenario involves extremely large data volume, diverse data types, and complex processing operations, and they are challenging and may not fully replicate actual production conditions. And focus on data and not on user interaction is another disadvantage of volume testing, because volume testing primarily focuses on data handling and processing capabilities, potentially overlooking other critical aspects of system performance such as user interactions and response times. And when it comes to limited applicability, volume testing is most relevant for systems where data volume is a primary concern, and for applications where user interactions are the main focus, load testing may be more appropriate. And the difficulty in identifying specific performance bottlenecks. So volume testing may not pinpoint specific performance bottlenecks unrelated to data volume, such as issues with the application logic, network latency, or external integrations. And are volume testing suitable for every system? That's a big no, because they are not suitable for every system. Some systems may not have a significant data handling component, making volume testing less relevant or unnecessary for them. So despite all these potential disadvantages, volume testing remains a critical aspect of ensuring the reliability and performance of systems that rely heavily on data processing and storage. So it's important to balance the benefits of volume testing with its potential challenges and consider its applicability in specific testing scenarios. So we will see in another separate video on how to plan for the volume testing. So until then, it's bye bye from Vasan Shanmugam and Little's Law.